in housing this, and housing the immigrants that are in need. Well, these are opportunities for this systemic trafficking to thrive and exploit so many people, especially when there's no legislation to protect certain rights. You can cite my mental health, but it's not a crime until I commit the crime. There's no law enforcement getting involved. The worst you could do is make an aggravated or harassment report, which they don't act on. So there's nothing there to allow these individuals to be oversighted, and that's why they're thriving. And when I say thriving in these areas, they are thriving. When we see, when we talk to other communities about what's happening within our communities, we don't realize that by silencing what's happening within our communities, we're also silencing other individuals who are vulnerable. You got Chinese immigrants who, the Triad gangs was able to thrive in Chinatown and Manhattan because of the fact that there was a big language barrier. They couldn't report everything to the police because not everybody understood them. You got this language barrier that's being exploited. Then you also got cultural barriers that are being exploited. So if I go to a person who's Caucasian, I'm looking to them to hear what's happening, but they're asking, what do I do? What are the solutions? And that's where the communication breaks down. And then you, of course, have prejudice in this, racism. Like the brother stated in an earlier news report about, Biden declaring this act, white supremacy, as an act of terrorism. It's about damn time. About damn time that it's being recognized, because this is it's not just race that's the problem, but race is definitely on how we are experiencing the problem, and everyone. But I find in the black market of human trafficking and sex work, there's a fetish for everything. So everyone's vulnerable to this. Our problem, our story is everyone else's story. And I think that's very important for people to understand that we're very connected into this issue. Even people who are in the governing bodies, they too are being exploited in their own way and extorted. So you could have someone who wants to advocate, and then next thing you know, a scandal comes up and we're focusing on the scandal and the person's sex life and what they're doing with their sex life and stuff like that. There's so many different, we got to protect our leaders. Look at what happened to Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. We have to protect our leaders who are right now that are out there putting boots to the ground because they're being eaten up by the wolves. There's a lot of people out there who are speaking up. There was a young lady in Long Island who spoke up against MS-13 and their exploitation out there, and she was killed. She ended up being murdered. Her daughter was murdered, and then she was murdered. So these, we're not protecting the people who are being a voice too.
Right.
And
advocates.
yes, and we need to do that as a community. Right. We're the oversight.
Right.
And
right.
we're not doing that.
Right. And I love that aspect of it. I think we have to get back to we are responsible for each other. We have to stop depending on, relying on, asking for others to do what we are fully capable of doing. That those men put on their pants just like you do. The women, they do the thing. We have to get out of this white man make fire syndrome, that we are fully capable of protecting each other. It's our responsibility to do so. Let me read something real quick about missing women. Throughout New York City, black women and young girls go missing every day. Some have never been found. And according to Black and Missing Foundation, BAMFI database, there are 26 open cases of black women and girls. That evidence of how serious this is and how young black girls' lives just don't mean anything to society, said Stephanie McGraw. She was the founder of WARM, WARM. I'm just really sad and angry. We can't fix what we can't see. And if we can't call it for what it is, how are we going to start eradicating or dealing with this? The earliest missing person case is of Ethel Atwell, who was abducted outside her job on Staten Island in 1978. She'd be 90 today. The youngest person on the missing list is Selah Lee Davis, who was taken when she was only 4 months old in February 2008. The baby was last seen with her mother and brother in a vehicle heading to Rochester from the Bronx. The vehicle, in fact, was found abandoned in Rochester, and the family has not seen or heard from her since. Davis today would be 15 years old. And one of the more recent cases is that of 19-year-old Marseille Ivy, a young mom who went missing in May of 2021 in Rochester, New York, near the Northeast neighborhood. She was wearing a black hoodie with pink leggings and had a flower tattoo on her chest. But the alarming number of missing persons is fluid as investigations are somewhat active. I don't know what that means, and constantly change. So this was a report that was in the Amsterdam News. This is a real crisis, and people don't talk about it. It's not in the news as often as it should. We see these Amber Alerts, right? and there's no, adult alert that goes off because there's this waiting period. There's this assumption, as Ms. Sparrow pointed out, that maybe they're off hanging out or doing something that it's the level of lack of care or interest in anything to do with our women and children. So we're spending a lot of our time online, especially post the pandemic. We're doing a Zoom right now, so there are children and predators they know the right words to say to these kids to make them comfortable, make them think they're their friends, and lure them out of their house, out of the schools or parks. And there's been an uptick. According to the National Crime Information, a missing person and identified persons database, it indicated last year that there were 89,020 black women and girls of all ages recorded as missing persons. Let me just read that again so that's not lost. 89,020 black women and girls of all ages recorded as missing persons. And at the end of 2021, there were 14,323 active missing cases involving black females out of 93,718 open files. So it's a lot of missing folks out here. And if we don't protect each other and we don't protect ourselves, we're going to think that this can't happen to us and you will be next.
Yeah. That's why we don't protect ourselves, because we think just that. It is not going to happen to us.
Mm-hmm. And instead of, like, when it happens to one person, we should have a sense that it happened to us. We keep thinking selfishly, and I think that's the big problem in our community. That's just them. Jordan, that's isolate. No, he died. That could have been you. No, that was you. And I remember mantras like, if it happened to one, it happened to all. Injustice anywhere is everywhere. Fight, a nigga and a wife. The nigga don't win. We all jumping in. We had a collective sense. It's just gone, Brother P. It's just gone. It's just this sense of everybody's an individual, and that's how they pick them off. That's how they do it in the animal kingdom. When some animal goes off by themselves, and then they get eaten by the lion or the tiger or some other predator. Instead of coming together and uniting, we should not rely on a government who holds us in contempt to protect us. But let's get to some other people. I'm sorry about that rant. I know the microphones are open. Please, if you have any other questions or comments, time is running out. We have 2 more minutes.
I would, hey, my name's Lucky Goggins. I was listening. This is my first time here. I'm welcome.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah, no problem, bro. Pete invited me. It was amazing. I'm honored to be on the show. My solution towards helping the community is really just kind of like fighting the game with the game. And I feel like I was just talking to some people about that, about awareness, about there's so many people not aware of our rights. We're not considered a full person under certain sectors, but it is a lot that we can do with what is available to us. And I feel like if it's as creative as our community is, and as much as we're the trendsetters of the world and the viralness, no matter what platform, no matter if it's the new age platforms like the TikToks and the LinkedIn's and the YouTubes and different things like that, or it's the old guerrilla tactic platforms and having like block parties and different things to that nature. I think if people was more aware of the power of what they have, if you set up the right portfolio, you could break the shackles of financial content and anything like that, even before the pandemic. And now that we're post-pandemic, or bandemic as some people call it, you could still set up formations and files in Black communities and things like that for a lot of things that Miss Sparrow, LLC representative, as what she was talking about. Like, a lot of that stuff can be set up to where you should have a minimum of 27 passive income streams coming in at all times. And if you set up that with enough people in a community, in the different various community, whether it's New York, Atlanta, Miami, Texas, Colorado, California, whatever, what have you, you can set up these different things, and to the point where now your voting power has merit. Now your businesses peer-to-peer and B2B and B2C has merit, and it will be completely controlled. Because at the end of the day, people keep thinking, a lot of private wealth management, they know that people are either in two brackets: living on lending, which is they're living on government subsidies or welfare or loans or other people's money, or they're wealth building, which means they got a product or a service that's so unique or whatever that is generating a profit. It's in the black all the time. And so if you're not in the wealth building category, you're on a living on lending category. You're living on borrowed money of some institution. And so that means that the money is not the real power. It means the power is inside of the value creation of the people. On who's more creative and more trendsetters than Black people? No one. The whole world follows whatever trend that we set. And if we learned how to monetize it and learn how to put everything in formations and files the correct and proper way, fight black and white paper and ink, and with black and white paper and ink, you know, whether it's digital or physical carbon copy, I feel like just as a community, we'll all be as a better whole, because it's not our skill sets. We know how to cook, we know how to create, we know how to have survival skills, we have this, we have that. We have entertainment skills, we change motions, we start trends, we do influencing. The only problem we have is that we don't know how to patent it, how to put it in the right paperwork, how to do the right formation, how to do the right acquisitions, how to do the right asset protection, how to leverage Web3 technology. But as soon as we did have that, and it was more of a consistent weekly basis, and there were you know, just physical and digital platforms for weekly basis to where people could do that more and more. Right, that will not only provide protection against, and people think, oh, all you care about is business, and they have like that's a negative stereotype nowadays, or for a while for a lot of people. But it's like, really, that is how you protect our community. That is how you protect our women and people going missing. Because the only reason why people are going missing like that is because the people who are leveraging them, right, the organizations and stuff like that, they know it's value in organs, it's value in our DNA, it's value in our stem cells, it's value in that. And the Black woman has the ability to hold the DNA, the Eve gene, for every other race. And so because, you know, people know that, boom, Web3, Black web. Sorry
to interrupt, but I just didn't want to lose my what I want to answer a question you said. I agree with you about trend setting and using getting more educated in business and how to maneuver money. Because I think the difference between money is that a lot of people, like you mentioned, 27 avenues of streams of money. That is so correct, because a lot of individuals who do have certain assets know how to maneuver assets. They just know how to maximize different assets, like a Roth IRA, how to get a percentage of that out of there to access some money, maneuvering certain investments from dividends into the market, if you're investing in a market, and making little $50 dividends here and there throughout the day, as well as Coinbase is another tool. So a lot of people and in our community, we need to be more open about talking about how to make money and maneuver money, especially as a couple, because they did a great job in making us feel like if I, as a Black woman, talk to you, a Black man, about money and assets and building growth and what I want for myself financially to be financially secure, I'm a gold digger. and then I cannot speak these things about how to build with you and grow money, because now we have been conditioned to look at you as your, you know, the only time that money should be a significance between you and me is if you're throwing dollars at me. So,
Right.
you know, so we're conditioned in that aspect, and we have to break that conditioning and talk about, like, when I am in a relationship with a man, I am talking about our assets, prenups, how to protect it before, after divorce, what to look at, how we're going to maneuver it, how we're going to combine our resources together, how my skill set as who I am can contribute to the skill set and to the table of building together. How can we build a business together? How can you be a partner in my business? How can I be a partner in what you do? You know, these are things that we need to have that conversation, and a solution to what we can do as a community, especially with the economic disparity that's going on. Protesting as a Black man and woman, as a woman of color, as a man of color, is our new stream of revenue. We can turn that into a stream of revenue, and make and talk about economic disparity and how I am building myself through activism, and how making this change in this legislation that is oppressing my growth as a human being. You know, and
you could be more, and I don't mean to cut you, but you could be more simple with that. Just look in the mirror, audit your circle, audit you first, and then audit your circle. And like you said, and that's what I do as a consultant and things like that now, is I tell people the 3 C's: cash flow, credit, crypto. If you get past those first 3 out of 7 C's, captain of the 7 C's, one of my DBAs and moniker, if you just look at yourself in the mirror and get that right, you could set it up to where now, even after the pandemic, or even after all the different programs that were giving out money, you could set it up to where even with economic disparity, you can have your stuff taken care of. And then once money is no longer the issue, you really got to look at yourself in the mirror like, okay,
I need my mental and my emotional health.
Exactly. The mindset is very important.
Exploit my money, my assets.
What I'm hearing, and what's happening here is that there's a skill set that we lack, and all that skill set that you're speaking about, we do need. Don't think we don't need it, but there's one skill set that we lack, and that's a skill set. That skill set is the recognition of the genocidal approaches that are on our people. We have no love for ourselves. We need to have a love for our people and a love for ourselves. Without that, nothing matters. Nothing you do will matter, because of the genocidal situations that are put upon us under the systemic racism that she's speaking about.
Yeah.
Founders Foundation, yeah, mindset. You gotta, as I say, look in the mirror. You want to look in the mirror and get that reflection of self, because you gotta have, like,
I love looking at myself in the mirror, but I'm done. I want to be a muse to a man's ear. Put me next to a powerful man or a powerful woman, or make me a powerful woman. Help me make other women powerful, so that this way we can make legislation changes, because we need to take action. And you know, as I'm a veteran, I suffer PTSD, and I have fight or flight. And when I get into altercations or any issues with people, the first thing they go for, they don't even try to, the first thing they do is try to make me look crazy. And they weaponize people's misconception of what post-traumatic stress disorder means. It does not mean that I have delusions and I see things that aren't there. No, in fact, it's the complete opposite. It means that exactly what I experienced, if I experience it again, or anything that's close to it, which means it's a reality, I am incited emotionally to respond in a certain way as a reaction to the situation at hand. It's not me, and it's not me hearing voices, or seeing entities that aren't there, or anything like that. It's not me saying those things. It's me saying that, hey, I'm witnessing something that is inciting my trigger, because my emotional response last time that was responded over this situation is this. But people will weaponize that as being crazy. Yeah. You know, so.
Hello? Yeah, hold on. Sonny?
Yes.
All right.
Can I say something?
Sure.
All of y'all full of shit. All right?
Okay.
Elaborate.
I'm gonna get there. I'm just trying not to be hurtful to people. All right? What we need to do is we need to find a place anywhere, and we need to get people off the street. That's number one. Number two, we need to find funding so we can fund this activity. Y'all talking too much, all right? All I hear is words. I don't hear action. I
So
hear
let's
words.
put together.
If you listen, you will hear the action, because that's
No, I don't hear
Yeah.
no action. Action, I'm gonna say it again.
Hold on. One at a time. One at a time.
Calm down a minute. Calm down.
I'm gonna
That's Sonny.
Oh, Black G, what did I walk into?
I'm gonna repeat it
Let's get this
again.
Hold on. I'm gonna get ready to mute. I'm gonna get ready to mute because one at a time.
Say what he gotta say.
Go ahead, Sonny.
I'm gonna repeat it one more time.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get a place. Arizona, Illinois, Atlantic City, definitely Atlantic City, and New York City, and the big urbans, Washington, D.C. Let's find a building. Let's get some funding. Let's take these girls and now boys off the street and then provide a program. Stop all this talking. All right?
Mm-hmm.
Stop.
So let's do it.
It's annoying.
Let's do it.
All this
When do you
talking
want to
that
get
y'all
this
just
started?
did is annoying. Don't tell me about programs and getting it started.
Mm-hmm.
Just do it.
So let's go. Give me a date so we can start a campaign. Let's get this going. I'm
Forget
dead serious.
about
I
the
love the
campaign.
fact that you said let's take action, because that's exactly what I'm hoping to. That's the results that I'm hoping to get out of by speaking up. I'm not
Sister,
just
hold up.
talking.
Sister, hold
I
up
will
for
link
one
up with
minute.
anyone and
Hold up
try
for
to
1
be
minute.
helpful as much as I can with anyone that's into action. I don't want to hear talking.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Now, Sonny,
All right.
Sonny,
Brother
Sonny.
Pete.
Go
Yeah,
ahead.
Sonny. All right. You know I intend to call you out on that, right?
Call me out.
Hell yeah.
No,
Oh.
wait a minute. This is not a debate. I do not wish to debate with you, but I do want you to know what's coming. I am going to call you out on it. Okay. Now I want to find out exactly. Wait a minute. Hold up, because I hear you say that we're not out here doing anything, brother. Don't say that to me, brother. I'm a member of the original Black Panther Party. Do not tell me that we're not doing anything.
I didn't
That's
say.
an insult. That's an insult to me. Don't do that.
I didn't say. And you got to take your feelings out of it. I didn't say that you're not doing
Your
anything.
feelings out of.
But well, here's a fact, and I could share this
Okay,
with
here we
Brother
go with the
Tylon.
talking again.
Wait a minute, y'all. Wait a minute, y'all.
Wait. Hold on. Did Brother Pete finish? Brother Pete, are you finished?
Huh?
I want to hear Brother Pete. I want to hear Brother
I
Pete.
want to hear Brother Pete. Did you finish?
I'm listening for a response from Sonny on how he wants, because I'm gonna call him out on that. Because what I'm hearing him say is that we're not doing anything, and we've been doing this for 40 years. Where were you, Sonny? We've been doing this for 40 years when we needed this thing, when we needed this information. We got a young man here that's got issues with his life. Okay, and I'm talking about Lucky Garden. He's got issues with his life, but that brother comes through. That brother stands. Okay, if we ask that brother with the conditions and the things that he got, if we need that brother in California, he getting up from Florida to go to California with the issues that he has in his life to perform, to show, to be there, to do. You know, and to hear somebody say that, you know, that brother's full of shit. No, come on, man. I mean, I can't allow that to go. I can't. That's. We got another brother on here. You know, that's a real good friend of mine, Quinn Austin. All right, that brother's doing things that you have no idea what that brother's doing. Okay, but to hear and for people for you to say that to people that are actually out there pounding the pavement, feeding people, clothing people, making sure that they have a roof over their head, a roof that's not even there. Okay, that's trying to create these organizations that are trying to be manipulated and controlled by the system. And come on, man, no, don't do that to these people.
Okay. Go ahead.
Thank you, Bro Pete. I appreciate that. Thank you. I mean, I know you don't know me, and I do agree with you with action. All I'll do is hire veterans. I put millions of dollars into Black businesses and small businesses internationally and nationally. I'm trying to create the next, I guess, reference Wakanda with people. Like And even though I'm fighting, I just got out of a coma recently. I just got diagnosed with kidney failure in a car accident and other different things. Bro Pete, just like Bro Pete said, even through my medical conditions, I'm running multiple nonprofits at all costs. I make sure that people who don't have a place to stay get it. I do nothing but I got awards from the Department of Defense for hiring nothing but veterans and giving them work even after their VA benefits is not enough for their households. But I don't need to say all that to still get up every day and help my people out. But I do agree with you with action. I just know I call it the super soldier serum effect or the addict effect. I've helped people get $2-4 million, but because they didn't have the right mindset and love of self and love of who they are as a person, they'll get rid of it and destroy it or ruin it in less than 2-3 months. In 6 months, millions of dollars. I've seen people who have gotten funding for elementary schools ruin money, make or break them. So just throwing money at the problem is not going to fix the issue. But I do agree with you. You do have to take action, and you do have to help people with their mindset. And so,
can I say something right now?
Mm-hmm.
Can I say something to all of you right now?
You sure
There
can.
is a female at a truck stop getting ready to sell her body so she can have a place to sleep or to feed her child or to feed her drug habit. Right now, as we speak, while we talking, over here talking, and I commend everyone for everything that they're doing, but it doesn't seem like it's enough.
Can I say something?
Sure.
Tylon, didn't you, when you introduced Sonny, you said he successfully sued the city. Is that correct?
Yeah, he made case law. We're suing the mayor, ACS during Giuliani period. It was so many people. Sonny can tell you more than I can.
So what was the settlement, Sonny?
The settlement was actually money.
I see where she goes.
Mm-hmm.
What was the settlement?
The settlement was money. All my kids got money from the settlement.
So can we take the rest of that money and invest in a safe house?
Mm-hmm.
I can guarantee you, I will introduce you to someone right now who's looking to create some housing opportunity for the migrant workers. The migrants that are coming in. We can create a safe house. We could buy some buildings. There's a lot of property up for sale, some abandoned property that I have been looking into. And I would love, I need some capital. I would love to take these actions and
I can do the same thing in the city of Washington, D.C. and Baltimore.
Well,
how about we
donate a lot of
unite our
technology to any of the
resources?
safe houses.
I got a problem with all that. And
you just got called out, Sonny.
Those are actions.
You just got called out.
Those are actions.
Okay, I'm going to respond. I have a problem with the migrants and immigrants or whatever you want to call these people. I'm concerned about my people first. Okay.
Then why don't you help us without school? Because the Black Panther Party is trying to create a school.
Well, let's go. Let's sit down. Let's have a meeting, a 5-minute meeting, and let's make it happen.
Okay, and we could make some safe houses for our sisters then, who are being trafficked, who need to go home. Mr. Washington.
Yes.
Did you receive the text I just sent you?
I sure did. I was getting ready because that's in our next segment. We were supposed to start at 10:30, with 3 minutes beyond that, but I wanted everybody to get their thoughts because what I do is I let people go ahead and talk, and I'm going to summarize a lot of what I've heard and hearing. One thing that is very important is in plain to see that we need more colored-only cafes, safe places. Because what it is that if it's not on mainstream TV, you think people aren't doing things. And I know it's about everybody that is on this call. I know these people personally who work nonstop on behalf of Black folks, on behalf of freeing our people from the situation that we're in. But this is what I want to say. I think that, much too often, we think if we could just finance our way out of our oppression. And, to me, it's like you don't understand white supremacy if we think that if we have a house or we have a building, all of that stuff has been done. The Black Panther Party did it. They had the 10-point program. They did it. And it was eviscerated through COINTELPRO, through bombings. We just had to move people here for the last 3 weeks. This government brooks no opposition. We have to understand clearly it's genocide. We're not going to finance. There's no safe place for us to go and be without them wanting to destroy. From Black Wall Street to the Harlem Collective Plan, that now Harlem is almost totally gentrified.
Yeah.
Because people think that somehow we can economically win or beat our oppressor. I think it's time for us to recognize that the solution is going to move us more and more towards revolution and doing for ourselves. We don't need other people to validate who we are, what we do, how we protect each other. We used to take care of the elderly. There's no such thing as an old folks home. We put our elderly in home when we run our kids into daycare centers. When, you know, these are the enemies. And I don't know if you know about Rockefeller, who tried to so-called educate our kids, but miseducate them because they want obedient workers as opposed to critical and analytical thinking young people. And our young people are being destroyed every day before they even traffic with this whole idea of capitalism and this whole idea that, you know, somehow if I can go get the bag, I'm gonna get bad. That's why they blinging, because they got low self-esteem. And they figure if no one knows who I am and care who I am, they know about this Fendi bag. They know about this, and they'll associate that bag, and society would treat me different than myself. These guys get on TV flashing millions of dollars in guns. Millions of dollars in guns, and there's homelessness running rampant. It's our ideology. I guarantee you that if our collective ideology changed, we don't need any FTCs. We don't need any other kind of program, but a people program where we looked out for each other. We used to do it during slavery times. If Brother Pete didn't have enough bale of hay, I would put my bale of hay with him so he meet his quota, so he wouldn't get beat. All the way to today, when somebody needs sugar or they need something to eat and a place to stay. How much space do we have in our own home that we can invite somebody in? We're not going to do that because we're thinking the government needs to do something that we need to do. It's our ideology and it's our mindset. And every time that I hear that the solution is somehow cooperating, voting our way out of this, or somehow participating in the same system that always tells you in contempt, that was a slap in the face when Biden talking about racism, and he locked up more black men than Clinton.
That's right.
Than Clinton.
That's right.
Kamala Harris locked up more black men than he did.
Absolutely. We got more black and people of color politicians, and we're going backwards in time, where in broad daylight in front of multiple cameras a black man get choked out and nobody do nothing, and black men in on the train. Our complicity and our silence causes what we see happening, because we keep trying to get included in this system. We want to get comfort corrupt instead of fighting and standing up like men and women. We don't need the system. We don't need them. We need each other to realize that the power is within our own hand and our own mind and imagination and our own consciousness. Yeah. That it's time to rebel and throw off these ideas of white supremacy and white dominance. What the hell is that? They're not dominant. They're not supreme at anything. We got the flavor. We make everything hot in this world. We make it what it is. And so Sonny, if we think that, you know, why we need a building? Why can't somebody come stay with you, Sonny? Why can't somebody homeless that you see at a truck stop, drive to a truck stop? Make some room for people. Why are we throwing our aunties and our cousins and our sisters and brothers who are having tough times and putting them in institutions?
Let me put this out there too, Sonny. But to say that we full of shit, that comes to being a powerful situation. I fed 10 people today that I don't even know. 10. How many did you feed?
That's right, brother.
Maybe about 3 today.
Deshaun.
Yes, brother Pete.
Are you still there?
You better believe it. This whole time.
Do I go out and feed people every day?
I bear witness, Pete. Like I said to you last night, your truck is a grocery store. The pantry. Your truck is the pantry.
Yeah, that's an example. This is what I'm talking about. This is the example. If each one teach one, forget that because it rhymes. But each one needs to teach 10 because this is how critical our situation is. Did you hear what the sister was saying? She outlined. She processed out a system that we go to that we think we're getting help, and they're trafficking. They're the number one traffickers. It's a system. It's a scam. It's a scam. And they make you think that you can't do it because we're not doing what we're supposed to be doing for each other because we're fucking selfish. That's what it is. We got an ideology of selfishness. That's the problem in the black community. Go for self. I'm gonna get the bag. I'm tired of these schemes and this, that, and the other. Because you got a nice big car, but where you gonna go? You're gonna get pulled over and maybe shot. The guys that I know that got all the nice cars, I know millionaires. I know plenty of them, right? And they don't understand it. And they will tell you that they can't go certain places. You get this house, right? And you live a certain place. The people are calling the police on you. Like, what the hell is this? What's going on here? Why we got to go out the hood? Why don't we make the hood good? Bring up the property value of where we at. Where's that consciousness?
That's right.
You know, all these sports figures and all this, they've abandoned us. We don't have any friends. And these celebrities, we don't. But guess what we have? We have each other, and we should put them to shame. We can put them in a model. We could do these models right now, and we could do it today. We don't need tomorrow. We don't need next week.
And that's what I say we lack, the love for each other.
That's right. That's the genocide. It's a mindset. This sister just came in and shared her very private and personal story. You don't know how many people's lives she just saved. Who's listening to us on Facebook?
My husband's in an urn as a result of this. They found his cancer, and they didn't tell him about it. They withheld it. And we found out when it was too late, and then we finally moved out of this homeless shelter, and 6 months after moving out, he passed away.
He didn't die from cancer. He died from fucking stress. That stress. We don't die from high blood pressure. We don't die from these. We dying for because we stressed out, and we keep acting like we normal. It's fake. It's phony. It's corny. It's tired. It's dead. And we need to be real with each other. We get upset at people living their fake lives on Facebook, posting pictures of food and places that they go and all this other kind of stuff, like they living like that when it's just a vacation that they got. The reality is that we are all black, and we all are suffering. We're all victims of genocide. Period. And guess what? The salvation, we can save each other. We can help each other. Sister, what are you doing? I asked this sister, come on the show. I like what you're doing. Like so and so and so. Each one collectively, not only educating and reaching out, is helping each other. I did a film, and doing a film, you know, it's like pulling teeth, getting people to support the knowledge and information, because that's the front line. And I said this, he who controls the diameter of your thinking controls the circumference of your action. It is our mindset that is polluted and it's under attack through the music, through the garbage food, to the poisonous air. Somebody told me the air is free. The air is not free. Most people got asthma. You need to buy medicine, a pump to breathe. You got to get an AC because I kid you not, look this up. New York City is sinking because of so many buildings and so many people. I'm dead ass serious. Geophysics, people just say, oh, it's alert. New York City is, because this is what capitalism does. It kills and destroys everything. It's not a good thing to now say, I'm going to be the new capitalist, or I'm going to be the new, slave master, and I'll somehow make it better. No, there's a better way that we can live. Like we used to look out for each other. We made sure that people was good. We had rent parties. When's the last rent party you went to? I'll hold on, I'll wait. That we help people with their rent. And the average rent in New York City is $4,300. Look it up. Don't take my word for it. Who's making that money? And then they're going up on rent stabilized apartments, 5 and 7%. Right after COVID. So what's that telling you? Get out, get out.
To help pay the elderly.
Yeah. And the way we throw away our elders is just ridiculous. That's our resources. Brother P got more stories in him than a little bit. Sonny got stories. We all have important stories that need to be told and shared with a younger generation. But they got this fear thing, so I don't want these young people, they crazy, they don't know how to act. No, you don't know how to act. You let fear in the media keep you from the very young people who are going to sustain you when you can. Young people who go to the store for you.
And be honest with you, that's all I really hang out with. I hang out with young people. Deshaun will tell you that. If you're looking for me in D.C., or you got to go anywhere in D.C. and ask, can you find me? When you do find me, you're going to see me around a gang of my youth.
That's right. So a lot of people in here, Deshaun, he travels, he calls me from all over. And I'm not trying to put your business out there. Very little money. And I sent him money. Everybody, he shouldn't have to have money sent to him. He should be the richest journalist out here. We don't support it. while we look
Wait a
over
minute,
him. What's his Cash App? Who's going to send money to his Cash App so he can continue to bring us the news?
Excuse me, Tylon.
Yeah.
That's one thing that I was getting ready to do. Sonny, that's already there and developed. Make a contribution, a substantial contribution to Deshaun's School of Journalism.
No problem. Give me the information and I'll do it.
Well, the information, Dr. Sonny, is $, well, Cash App, $D Farad, DFARAD.
Right.
Set that up, and then both of y'all set up y'all LLCs real quick. It's Deshaun and Sonny. Now y'all can have that as a write-off and contribution.
That's where you come in at. That's where you come in at, Lucky.
Oh, Lucky, brother. I already know, Lucky. Somebody already peeped me to that some time ago. I already do that.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Do you know how to be able to? Do you know how to take that and use that as collateral to get business credit off or start up for like pre-orders or subscriptions from fintech banks and be able to build it and diversify? That's what I'm saying. Like you can take one transaction as simple as what y'all about to do for him supporting you.
Look, that's what I'm saying. I have a sister in New Jersey that peeped me to that some time ago, dear brother. Like I said, because she, and also their mentors in my profession. Just to let you know, Tylon is a brother that was good friends with Gil Noble. And he was the one that told me a long time ago, this particular brother, he said, Brother Dashawn, you're a journalist, but you want to be an entrepreneur in this. So make a long story short, Lucky, there's a sister that I know some time ago, she advised me with that. And she actually told me that, all what you're saying, the write-offs and all that, because many of my colleagues, Tony Brown, Don Lemons, punk ass, a lot of them, Ed Gordon, they all do that.
Excellent. So what you're telling me, your journalism has a DBA, a LLC, and a corporation, because you want to have those three bare minimum. They advise you to set that up.
Okay.
Well, you know what? I want Lucky to come on our program next week so we can really talk about that a little bit more and in depth. But I want to get back into this Jordan Neely situation, because this Jordan Neely actually really cauterizes and brings together everything we've been talking about. Because once again, what happened at Jordan Neely, we need to say, I am Jordan Neely. But it didn't happen to somebody else. It happened to all of us. I don't care where you are, in Africa, in England, in Germany. Jordan Neely happened to you. This is, when they do this in broad daylight, I want you to see this. His donation is in the millions while we're raising money, right, to bury Jordan Neely. And then my sister, good sister, Wilhelmina, just sent me some information that it's just alarming. New York man gets 30 years for incredibly cruel murder of ex-girlfriend stuffed in a suitcase, left to die. These stories are connected through white supremacy, this total idea and this concept that we have no value, that the people who are contributing right now, like to, I'm talking to Daniel Penny, the murderer of Jordan Neely, are sending indicators that we don't only support in words, like on these forums. And this is to Sonny point. We're not just doing this in words to say, yeah, I support that guy. They put money and political weight and power behind a murderer who was caught murdering a man in broad daylight. But meanwhile, we're raising funds for Jordan Neely's funeral expenses. Al Sharpton will be there giving the eulogy. And they make it simply about, mental health, because that's easy. Instead of, making an example of this murder, who is like the modern day Bernard Goetz. I don't know if people who remember that case in New York City where a man got on a train and gunned down these guys because, he thought, well, they robbing me, and this whole idea that black men are the boogeyman and the monsters. We are our biggest natural resource, and there were black men on there who didn't do anything. A sister, I think, even was there. All the smoke for black men. People can get loud and yell and all this other kind of stuff, and this man was hungry. And like this sister just outlined, you don't see what happened beforehand. I think there was a video. Am I right? Ron shared the video with me when he was asking for food. He was really, and he didn't seem, and if you're in New York like I am, and you ride the subway that's normal. You can't ride the subway for any amount of stops without the candy kids, the kids that's going to sell you candy. That's part of the experience. You're going to see somebody asking for money. You're going to see entertainment, people dancing and hanging off us. That's part of the experience. Deshaun, you got your hand raised?
Tylon, I want Tylon, get this. I'm saying to all of us, hold 1 second. I'm pulling it up right now, family. Just to let you know, for Daniel Penny, 3 days ago, his donations have swelled for his legal fund 10 times. But guess what? Online donations for Jordan Neely lag, while Daniel receives millions.
Yep, that's what I'm saying. The people are supporting. The people who support that ideology, what he did, and see themselves doing that should be an indicator in a vote that you see that they're voting with their dollars for his support. Meanwhile, Jordan Neely is getting what? And not just Jordan Neely, because it's crazy to me, and it's just weird that people put money into Jordan Neely's funeral and dead, but there's 1,000 Jordan Neelys and won't give him a dime or a dollar, or he was hungry, they wouldn't reach in their pocket and give him a dollar. Why don't you take that money that you're giving to Jordan Neely to put in the ground and pay for somebody to bury him, is put that money into and actually handing money to a real person. Stop going to these not-for-profit organizations that's top-heavy. These not-for-profit organizations, they take care of the executives. They don't take care of the poor. Look at how they spend their budget. When you can just see somebody have some money in your pocket and do what Brother Pete does, that I know, the overwhelming majority, I've seen Sonny do it, go in his pocket, give money to people that he didn't know in the street, or have a sandwich, or have something, come out of the store, somebody ask him and give him the whole bag. We have to continue these acts and promote that and show people that this is the proper and correct way to behave. We got to get out of this mindset that somehow, if I just look out for myself, or capitalism, if I just get more money, and look what's happening to, what's his name? Bill Cosby, billionaire. They break their toys. When they get finished with you, the system will leave you with nothing and no friends and isolated. So you might as well be with your people. This is to the celebrities, all these people with this money. They go in clubs and, throwing money at, women and all this, just the bling for what? Like somebody, that's weird. And people are hungry. You could build up a building. There's somebody right now who is faced with eviction, who could use that 20 grand you just threw up in the air, so they could stay in their house. And it's because we're not talking to each other. We're afraid of each other. We're not communicating. And we have this consciousness that somebody outside of us is responsible for our salvation. All right, so I'm like burning it up, but I wanted us to see that, look, this is just 5 hours ago. Online donations for Jordan lag, while Daniel Penny receives millions of dollars. I don't, how many millions is it? Did you see where he's at? Look, he's at $150,000. But this is just the indicator. This should just indicate to us, like, what the people and the kind of people who are well financed and willing to spend their money to look out for their kith and kin. And all we want to do is just, like Sonny said, I understand that frustration.
Let's recognize the fact that there's a mental health issue and the fact that they want to continue to kill people just for the sake of their skin color, or even mental health issue. We're fighting a justice system saying, give us the right to kill each other freely.
Let's get real, because I'm not afraid to say it. Okay, let's get real. White people are the only people on the face of this earth that will make heroes and sheroes out of their most sick, sadistic, murdering people in the world. Okay, I mean, look at what they did with Custer. Custer was known to be one genocidal, murdering psychopath. Okay, they made him a hero.
Wow.
Look at their heroes, and get the history of what they call being heroes. The more people they kill, that's a hero to them.
May I add to that?
Sure.
It's something. Remember when Brother Khalid had, Khalid Abdul Muhammad in 1994 when he said that he loved Colin Ferguson, the man, you remember, the Long Island Railroad shooter, and Donna Hewitt questioned him on that. He said, you admire a man that killed such and such, and so he said that white people honor their heroes who were killers, and that always amazes me whenever, for example, when you hear white people, trash Minister Louis Farrakhan or Brother Khalid Abdul Muhammad, and at one time Malcolm X. And I remember I was on a national broadcast, I was on a national TV show some time ago, and I was questioned on Minister Louis Farrakhan and Malik Zula Shabazz. At the time, I was the national assistant of the new Black Panther Party and Brother Malik. And so I told this white reporter, as a matter of fact, you would know him, Tylon, Richard French, the regional news network.
Right.
Okay. White liberal over the New York Democratic Party at one time. And I said to him, Mr. French, when he drilled me on Minister Farrakhan and Malik Zula Shabazz, I said, white people, honor, horrific people all the time. You're asking me to denounce Minister Farrakhan. I said,
well, look at their movies.
Right. I said, when you denounce that. Right, but I said, will you denounce the founding fathers of America and Christopher Columbus and, Brother Peter's right and exact.
Right. And they know what it is. They know what they're doing. Wow, time really flies. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to take up all the energy, but I really get passionate sometimes, and that's good. And I like the passion of the people. I like the passion in the room. That's important. And having these conversations are important. Sonny and a lot of people who relate to what Sonny said, we are not in danger of having too many conversations. We need to know what we're doing. We need to know what other people are doing. We need to connect. And that's why this is the importance of this program. So we can talk about. Some people didn't know what Brother Pete was doing. Some people didn't know what I was engaged in. I would have a program for 2 hours talking about what I do every day, all day on behalf of people. I'm uniting and connecting artistic people to come together. How I support. And I go in my own pocket and put money in other people's pocket and on the table so that we can continue to be encouraged and continue to fight what I really see is an attack on our collective consciousness, on our mindset, to make us continue to believe that we need something or somebody else. We are incredibly powerful people. This sister is Wonder Woman. Sparrow should have a cape. All of us in here, Sheila is a phenomenal. And I surround myself by some brilliant people. I believe in the young people. Dreamcast, he was on a little earlier. I don't know if he's still here. I have a new Mavi Cedeno, who is from the Dominican Republic. And she is just phenomenal with social media. And I did my first TikTok, guys. So you're going to see that real soon, because I got one foot in MySpace and the other foot in Facebook. I'm not. People say, how do you own this radio station to do it? Because I have other people doing stuff that I can't do, So, I just want to, us to know that it's important. We don't have any black media, really. Most of the black media is democratically run. And as far as I'm concerned, the Democratic Party is the new Republican Party. That's me saying that, so I don't want to get anybody else in trouble. The Democratic Party, as far as I'm concerned, is the new Republican Party, and the Republican Party is the party of insane people. So,
and they all the Ku Klux Klan. Yeah, so just say it like it is.
And they all Ku Klux Klan. But you know what? The Democratic Party is the Ku Klux Klan too. But what I'm saying, we have no friends, but we need to
stay like it is.
We our own.
Can I suggest on that note that all our activists out there, our innovators, our artists, we can collectively take over the seats and be the new party, governing parties, and just be a total independent. And social media is a tool that we can use. We got Telegram, WhatsApp, different tools to get our campaigns out there and everything. Like next big seats that are up and coming, we should just do a mass ballot, write-in ballot campaign wherever you're at, or just start campaigning now. Your work is your campaign.
Well, let's sit down and come up with a structure. Let's sit down and come up with the ideology of doing
because we need our own system. That's what I say. We need our own system, because we have a lot of black politicians and people who get in, and then they get in and fit in, and they don't flip over tables. That's what you're supposed to do when you get in the table. Yeah. You flip over their table and build our own tables. We want to sit down and get the cookie.
If Tylon doesn't object to it, then after we sign out, let's have this out talk in the after party.
Sure.
Definitely. I am
Sure.
down.
Absolutely.
I have
Absolutely
a whole
will.
plan on how to go about this, and I've been waiting for the right people.
Yo, you ain't said nothing all night.
Make my
What's going
lobsters
on,
grow.
sister?
You know, we got to get Lydia in on this cover because Lydia is brilliant and bright, and she loves jazz. And people who love jazz, I just love them too. All right, so folks, I got to end the show on Facebook. I hope you guys on Facebook Live got something from this. And if you want to join the conversation, we are here every week, 9 to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But the show, I got to tell you, is the after party. But to be a part of the after party, you got to join us here on the Colored Only Cafe, where the conversation is always hot, black and strong. And my brother didn't say anything. I want to acknowledge before we get on the graduation of my partner in crime here, Dr. Ron Christopher Osborne got a doctorate of, what was it? The doctor of all doctors now. So I saw the graduation. I couldn't be there. It was online. It was a wonderful ceremony. He was so tall that he had to bend down. I got a kick out of that, Ron. He had to bend down, so the lady gave him the medal. So congratulations, Dr. Ron. How you doing?
I'm good, Tylon. I'm just,
Congratulations.
thank you. I just want to say that, one thing I want us to stop having to justify what we do in our work. The idea that, so often in our community, that's what we spend our time doing, challenging what work we doing as a community. I mean, right now we have that same thing going on with John Vermont, where everyone is challenging his belief that he could carry a gun the way he wanted to carry it and do what he wanted. Everybody's concerned about he's gonna lose money, he's gonna do this. Listen, focus on what we have to do for ourselves and our community instead of always putting our brothers and sisters down for somebody else to highlight. If you may not see what people are doing, you may not even know what they're doing. But if you don't communicate with them and talk to them and find out, not challenge them, because there's a difference between challenging somebody and asking them, hey, what do you do? And sometimes we get offensive, somebody saying, hey, what work do you do? Where you work at? What do you do? What do you do for a living? Because we don't do that because we don't do a lot of networking. And the networking that we miss is the community building we need as a community. So I just wanted to say that as I listened tonight, is that I just say, be careful how you say what you say to people. I know we don't care about hurting people. We don't want to hurt people's feelings, whatever. But it's strong words to use to say, hey, people full of shit, or they ain't bullshitting or whatever, because we got enough of that from people outside our community to have it from people inside our community saying the same thing. So that's all I want to say for tonight.
And I'm going to leave it right there on that note, folks. I'll see you next week. People can stay on for the after party. I have to definitely acknowledge the music is by Five Soul Productions. It's a producer out in France. He's also a graphic designer, and he loves to create great instrumentals that you've been hearing in the background, royalty free, so that they don't stop us from showing our content. And you can buy all of his music from wherever you get music, iTunes, Spotify, Pandora, or Toilet Paper. Wherever you get that, you can get his music. Please support artists who support you. Please support Sparrow. Her information is in the chat area. You're gonna be hearing a lot from us. So other folks, as we sign off, I want you to know, in the words of my mentor, Melvin Van Peebles, start where you are, use what you have, do what you can, and the most important thing you say is recognize that you are enough. You're enough, nobody else, all right? And we'll see you next week. Hope folks stay on for the after party, all right?